Chapter 150. The bottom of the lake was immeasurably deep. The first batch of disciples had already dived hundreds of meters, and their protective Zhen-Qi had been compressed to a foot away from their skin. But that was not all, they were surrounded by horrifying ancient piranhas. These piranhas had formed groups and were specifically attacking the disciples who were alone. Those with strong protective Zhen-Qi could hold on for a while, but those with weak Zhen-Qi would be completely devoured after 2 or 3 attacks, not even bones would be left. It was a bloody scene. Head disciple sister, second disciple brother, luckily we have your sky holy water spell to protect us. Not all of the disciples from the Rudra martial school were facing the attacks of the ancient piranhas. The 5 disciples from the Rudra martial school were wrapped in a cone-shaped water shield. The water shield was as thick as a fist, and the water surface was rotating at a speed invisible to the naked eye, like a drill. Those 5-feet-long piranhas were thrown away once they touched the water shield, and couldn't even get close to them. Although the 10-feet-long giant piranhas were not thrown away, the water shield was unimaginably hard, and they couldn't bite through it. After a while, their gums started to bleed because of the rotating water. Nangong Yun put both of her hands on the inner wall of the water shield and said, "I can't defend against the ancient piranhas alone. Only with Sister Qin and I, we have such an effect." Yuan Shuimei smiled and said, "Training the sky holy water spell, 1 drop of Zhen-Qi is more than 100 pounds. This water shield is mixed with normal water, and it already has such a strong defense. If it was all made with Zhen-Qi, it would be more than 10 times stronger. It's not that easy. The Zhen-Qi from the sky holy water spell is very little, and we need to mix it with water Yuan Qi during normal battles, not to mention such a huge defensive shield." On the other side, a girl in cyan clothes also put both of her hands on the inner wall of the water shield. She shook her head and smiled bitterly. While they were talking, the water shield was like a spiral drill, and it dived another 200 to 300 meters. Great monument suppression. 10 miles fragrance. All demons fall. Under the water, there was a turbulent undercurrent. A 10 meters tall monument made of Zhen-Qi fell down and landed in the middle of the ancient piranhas. The shockwave spread out and killed a large group of them. After that, faintly discernible sword light sprinkled out like 100 flowers blooming, and also like a fragrance wafting for 10 miles. It enveloped all the ancient piranhas in front of it and started to kill them endlessly. In the end, it formed a huge flower of blood mist. The sword light dimmed, and a resplendent golden light shone, spreading out in a fan shape. It contained countless fist shadows, and every punch had the power of 1,000 caddies. Wherever it went, the water would explode, and whirlpools would appear. The man-eating fish were dizzy and unable to move, and were beaten to death. "This won't do. There are too many piranhas, I can only kill about 10 of them with a full power attack, I can't kill them all," Luo Hanzhan said to the other 3 through his Zhen-Qi. Su Jing rarely spoke. "Don't get entangled. Dive with all your might. Senior Sister Su is right. Continuing to fight is just a waste of time. Everyone, try your best to go down as fast as possible. I'll stay behind." Brandishing his sword and killing one piranha after another, Yichen felt that his innate qi was being consumed rapidly, he had already used up a third of it. "How can we do that?" Zhu Mei disagreed. Luo Hanzhan understood what Yichen meant, he turned to Zhu Mei and said, "Don't underestimate Brother Yi. He is the most powerful one among us, he can easily kill Ouyang Ming." "Really?" Zhu Mei didn't believe it. She hesitated for a second, then decided to follow the plan. Together with Luo Hanzhan and Su Jing, Zhu Mei dived down with all their strength. However, she had made up her mind that once Yi Chen was in danger, she would come back immediately. Swallowing a pill that could help him recover his Zhen-Qi, Yi Chen activated his sword intent and slashed out with his sword. Whirlwind and clouds. In the blink of an eye, the violent sword Qi shot out, rising straight up in a spiral shape. In the next moment, a huge waterspout was formed in the water. The waterspout was filled with incomparably sharp sword chi, constantly killing the piranhas nearby or far away. Poochie, 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 poochie. After this sword move, Yi Chen's Jin Chi dropped by a small half again. He couldn't help but smile bitterly, and thought to himself, it seems that I have to find a low-rank Earth realm martial art to cultivate when I get back. Otherwise, with my current Jin Chi, I won't be able to use the shocking cloud sword art as much as I want. Down below, Zhu Mei turned around and saw what had happened. She said in shock, how come Brother Yi is so powerful? I felt that every single beam of sword chi in that waterspout could injure me badly. You might not believe it, but Brother Yi has already mastered the sword intent, and he can easily kill other martial artists at the same level as him. I saw him kill 3 disciples who were no weaker than me with only one sword move, and they couldn't even fight back at all. Luo Hanzhan said with a big smile. Zhu Mei's eyes popped out, he has mastered the sword intent. No wonder he is so powerful. Before Shui Wuren, the leader of the Northern Snow Martial Academy, had mastered the blade intent, he was only as powerful as an inner elder, and his talent was just average as well. However, once he mastered the blade intent, his power skyrocketed, and he could even compete with Zhuang Qingxian, the leader of the Emerald Martial Palace. Until now, no one has ever seen him use all of his power. Soon, Yi Chen caught up with them. However, right at this moment, the water started vibrating intensely. A tens of meters long, gigantic Jin Chi palm, which was emitting a khaki yellow light, shrouded the 4 of them. Yi Chen's eyes shone with an intense killing intent, he launched a boundless cloud attack. Rumble. Once the gigantic sword chi touched the gigantic Jin Chi palm, it was as if tens of bombs had been detonated under the water. Luo Hanzhan, Zhu Mei, and Zhu Mei were sent flying by the shockwave. Their chi and blood started boiling, and they almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Hong Qianjun. Luo Hanzhan's pupils contracted, he noticed a tall and sturdy silhouette in the water. That silhouette's muscles were as strong as those of a human ape, just like Lin Yu's. Huh, so you are the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Hong Qianjun had launched this palm attack from far away, he didn't see who had blocked it, so he thought that it was the combined power of the 4 of them. Thinking like this, he didn't care about it at all. There were many obstacles in the water, therefore, when he launched that palm attack, he only had 70 to 80% of his power left. Zhu Mei frowned and asked, why did you attack us? Hong Qianjun curled his lips and said, you're not very popular, someone even offered a large amount of low-grade spirit stones to buy your lives. Buy our lives? Yuan Hengying. Impossible, he's a hidden dragon-ranked martial artist, how could he let others take advantage of him? But besides him, who else would want to offend our Sky Cloud Martial School? Could it be the Purple Sun Martial School? Yeah, the Purple Sun Martial School and our Sky Cloud Martial School are mortal enemies. Now that they've seen the rise of our junior brother Yi, they won't give up. Hong Qianjun, let's get straight to the point, it's the Purple Sun Martial School's people who want our lives. Hong Qianjun shook his head and said, I don't care about that, what I want to do is to kill you. But now, I can give you a chance. Among the 4 of you, only one can survive. In other words, the other 3 can either kill themselves or be killed by me, and the last one should run. Yi Chen said blandly, you think you've got us? Who the hell do you think you are? Among the 4 of us, you'll definitely die. Hong Qianjuan's body was surrounded by a layer of yellow light, which made it impossible for the piranhas to bite through it. Yi Chen said slowly, today, you'll also die. The blue veins on Hong Qianjuan's forehead suddenly bulged, he said in a hideous voice, you're just like a dog, how dare you yell in front of me? Just wait until I break all of your bones and make you beg for death, I'll see if you can still talk back then. Hundreds of meters away, Ouyang Lai and Ouyang Ming were standing side by side, talking while killing the piranhas nearby. Cousin, do you think this Hong Qianjun can kill them? Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Lightning flashed, and 4 piranhas were burnt black by the lightning. Rushing Thunder Hand Ouyang Lai snorted and said, Hong Qianjun is ranked 69th in the Hidden Dragon ranking. He was only at the peak of the late condensing reality realm, but he was already able to easily kill disciples at the same level as him. Now that he has stepped into the clasping Yuan realm, how could he not be able to kill these 4? You're right. Ouyang Ming nodded. Earlier, on the lakeside, when Yuan Hengying was about to kill Yi Chen and the other 3, the 7-colored light column suddenly disappeared, which ruined their plan. The more they thought about it, the more worried they became. After entering the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace, there was a 10% chance for them to step into the Clasping Yuan realm. If they didn't step into the Clasping Yuan realm, it would be fine, but once they stepped into the Clasping Yuan realm, it would be very difficult for them to kill them. After all, they wouldn't have the chance forever. In for a penny, in for a pound, in for a pound. Both of them spent a large amount of low-grade spirit stones to invite Hong Qianjun to help them kill Yi Chen and the other 3, and kill them under the water. When they're dying, we can go up and finish them off. Ouyang Lai's nickname was Rushing Thunder Hand, but his temperament was even gloomier than Ouyang Ming's. He was extremely cruel. Hee, that would be great. Once Hong Qianjun said those words, he sensed the sword chi coming right at his face, and the yellow-colored light column seemed to collapse. At the same time, Yi Chen's voice came, you could have gone to the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace safely, and nothing would have happened. You might have even improved your cultivation, but you're digging your own grave, don't blame me. I'd like to see who will end up like a dead dog. When he was confronting Yuan Hengying, Yi Chen didn't have the chance to launch the first attack, because he didn't have the confidence to kill Yuan Hengying. Unfortunately, Hong Qianjun wasn't Yuan Hengying, he was only as powerful as Lin Yu. Although it would be a bit difficult to kill him, it wasn't impossible. Once he launched the attack, Yi Chen activated his sword intent with all of his power and launched the shocking cloud sword art. The thick sword chi contained an inexhaustible explosive power. Wherever it reached, the water would be cut open and the water behind it would explode, pushing the sword chi forward at an even faster speed. Sword intent. Hong Qianjun's face turned pale with fright. The sword intent had always been difficult to learn, and Yi Chen was only a late condensing reality realm martial artist. How could he have learned the sword intent? Hong Qianjun was slightly stunned, then his face turned fierce. He knew that he couldn't let this man live, otherwise, he would become a great threat in the future, and he had to kill him as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Hong Qianjun let out a great shout, and the yellow-colored light column around his body suddenly expanded, locking the space around him. Mountain-shattering stamp. Hong Qianjun locked his fingers together and launched a palm attack. Buzz. The speed of the sword chi was very fast. However, as soon as it entered the earthen yellow halo, its speed plummeted, as if there was an endless obstacle. In the time it took for a spark to fly off a piece of flint, a round of earthen yellow palm prints broke through the water flow and heavily struck the sword chi. Crack! The sword chi was shattered, and the remaining sword chi was twisted by the yellow-colored light column, then disappeared. However, Hong Qianjun had underestimated the power of the sword chi, and one of his sleeves was cut off. Chapter 151. Damn it, I want you to die. Facing a late condensing reality realm warrior, Hong Qianjun was enraged, his face turned extremely pale. He threw out another mountain-shattering stamp. Mountain-shattering stamp was a low-rank Earth realm martial skill that only belonged to the multiple mountain martial school. Once the mountain-shattering stamp was launched, all of the martial artist's power would be concentrated on a single point, and it was even more powerful than ordinary low-rank Earth realm martial skills. When Hong Qianjun was at the peak level late condensing reality realm, he had shattered the protective Zhen Qi of an early clasping Yuan realm martial artist with this skill. At this moment, he launched the mountain-shattering stamp with all of his power. The surrounding water currents were violently stirred up, and an astonishing undercurrent kept attacking Yi Chen's body, as if it wanted to send him flying and push him back. Moreover, under the pressure of the undercurrent, the protective aura around him that was 3 feet away from his body was making creaking sounds, as if it couldn't bear the heavy pressure. Yi Chen's eyes were sharp, and his body, which was as immovable as a mountain, shook slightly. The pervasive sword intent spread out along with his strength, cutting off the source of the undercurrent. Suddenly, the undercurrent that had lost its source was like a poisonous snake that had been hit in its weak spot. It seemed to be strong in appearance but weak in reality. Mountain condensing sword chi. This series of changes happened in a split second. Yi Chen took a step forward, and the water under his feet became as solid as iron. Yi Chen didn't see how he moved, but the hidden cloud sword in his hand had already been swung out, and his whole body was frozen in the same position. The thick sword chi was like a mountain, cutting through the water and part of the earthy yellow halo, colliding with the earthy yellow palm print. Chi 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 chi, this time, the sword chi did not shatter. Instead, it vibrated and rubbed against each other at a high speed. Wave after wave of boundless power slashed onto the palm print. What sword technique is this? Hong Qianjuan's heart sank, and his desire to kill Yi Chen grew even stronger. He couldn't allow himself to be defeated by a late-condensing reality realm warrior, even if the latter had comprehended the sword intent. After all, he was a hidden dragon-ranked martial artist. If this news spread out, it would be a great blow to his reputation. Puchi. In the end, the palm print only had one layer of power. Under the slash of the sword chi, it quickly disintegrated and was cut in half. The next moment, the sword chi, which did not seem to be weakening, shot toward the deeper layer of the earthy yellow halo. It moved like lightning, ignoring the obstruction of the water flow. Enfeft as a marquis. Hong Qianjun pushed his Jin Qi to its limit. The yellow halo around his body became even more dazzling, it was almost tangible. After that, the yellow halo quickly combined together and transformed into a small, illusory city, which protected Hong Qianjuan's body and stabilized the surrounding water flow, blocking the sharp sword chi. What kind of defensive technique is this? It's even more terrifying than my combination skill purple chi from the east, great monument suppression. Lu Hanshan was a master of the art of defense. Even Ouyang Ming, who had mastered the dragon beheading kick, had not been able to break his defense with only one move, and he would be able to hold his own against 2 martial artists who were at the same level as him. However, when he saw Hong Qianjuan's small, illusory city, he realized that his defense was far weaker than Hong Qianjuan's, even if he had stepped into the clasping Yuan realm. Suddenly, he started worrying about Yi Chen. Ouyang Ming and Ouyang Lai were dumbfounded at the same time. How is this possible? You barely defeated Shirpatian, how come you have the strength to fight against Hong Qianjun now? Impossible. Ouyang Ming couldn't believe his own eyes, and said bitterly. Ouyang Lai said in a deep voice, fortunately, we didn't find a chance to attack him ourselves, otherwise, we would have been killed by him. But, since the gods have allowed us to escape, it means that we still have a chance to kill him. Now, let's just wait and see. He won't be able to hold on for long. The multiple mountain martial school's land-splitting art is a mid-rank earth realm martial art. Even if Hong Qianjun hasn't mastered it completely, he will still be invincible. Indeed, Yi Chen is dead for sure. He won't be able to break Hong Qianjuan's defense. Clang, 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 the sword chi struck on the small, illusory city, causing dazzling fire sparkles to burst out. The fire sparkles didn't die out even after being touched by water. Instead, the scorching heat from the fire sparkles burned large groups of piranhas to death. However, no matter how fast the sword chi struck, the small, illusory city, which was formed by Jin Qi, remained as stable as a mountain. Even a small crack couldn't shake the city, not to mention killing Hong Qianjun. My earth-splitting art is a mid-rank earth realm martial art. How could you possibly break it? Dream on. Hong Qianjun laughed arrogantly. The Multiple Mountain Martial School was a rank 7 institution in the White Mystery Nation, and they didn't have too many low-rank Earth Realm martial arts. Half a year ago, when he stepped into the Clasping Yuan realm, the headmaster of the Multiple Mountain Martial School directly gave him the Earth-Splitting Art. The Earth-Splitting Art was divided into 11 levels, and after spending half a year studying it, and being taught by an inner elder, Hong Qianjun had already reached the 8th level of the Earth-Splitting Art, which was even more powerful than the highest level of low-rank Earth Realm martial arts. This was definitely his strongest defense. Yi Chen remained expressionless, while he let out a resonant growl. Explode! Boom! The thick sword chi exploded right next to the small, illusory city. Tiny pieces of sword chi darted across the air and clanged against the city wall, forcing Hong Qianjun to take a step back. Hong Qianjun didn't get angry, instead, he laughed out loud, locked his fingers together and launched 2, mountain-shattering stamp. The power of the mountain-shattering stamp seemed to contain the power of a small mountain. Wherever it reached, the water would explode and surge towards Yi Chen like a raging tide. Swirling clouds. Facing the incoming palm attacks, Yi Chen took a deep breath and let out a growl, then launched the shocking cloud sword art, which had the widest range of attack. All of a sudden, countless streams of sword chi swirled up, stirred up the water, and darted out like a gigantic serpent. Puff! 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 Boom! The sounds of the mountain-shattering stamp, and the sounds of the sword chi surged up one after another, shaking people's hearts. Any piranha that approached were either crushed or punctured. Lu Hanshan and the other two had already retreated to a distance of 800 meters, and could only faintly see 2 human silhouettes fighting. Brother Yi is indeed powerful, he's fighting evenly with Hong Qianjun, who is ranked in the Hidden Dragon ranking, but he's still at the Late Condensing Reality realm, not even at the peak of the Late Condensing Reality realm. Lu Hanshan was shocked, but he also seemed a bit numb, but he was still extremely happy. Zhu Mei frowned and said, Lu Hanshan, Brother Yi is in danger. Why? Lu Hanshan was surprised. Before Zhu Mei could answer, Su Jing said blandly, Brother Yi has been practicing a top-rank mortal realm art, his Zhen Qi is not enough, plus the limitation of his cultivation, he is at least 3 times weaker than Hong Qianjun. Hong Qianjun is trying to consume Brother Ye's Zhen Qi, and when he is weakened, he will kill him with 1 strike. Now that you mention it, it's true, I was too careless. Lu Hanshan was too excited just now, so he didn't notice some subtle things. Now that he was reminded by Zhu Mei and Zhu Mei, he immediately became vigilant. But Brother Yi should still have some tricks up his sleeves, he doesn't look like someone who lacks consideration. After saying that, Su Jing added. 800 meters away from the east side of the battlefield. Ouyang Lai sneered, in a few more minutes, Yi Chen will die for sure. Ouyang Ming knew what Ouyang Lai meant, he grinned viciously and said, the older, the wiser. Hong Qianjun has been through hundreds of battles, he has encountered all kinds of opponents. How could Yi Chen, who has just risen to power, compare with him? When his Zhen Qi is weakened, he will definitely be crushed to death. In fact, Hong Qianjun is seriously injured, while Yi Chen is dying, this is the best result. By that time, Lu Hanshan and the other two will definitely rush up and attack Hong Qianjun together. Even if Hong Qianjun is seriously injured, he will still be able to kill them, which will aggravate his injuries. Ouyang Ming's eyes brightened, you mean, we can take advantage of the situation, and conveniently kill Hong Qianjun as well? Ouyang Lai's face darkened. Hong Qianjun smirked and said, there is always a huge gap between the condensing reality realm and the clasping yuan realm, no matter how powerful you are, you can't escape from this fact. How much Shin Qi do you have left? I guess not more than 20%. It's enough to kill you. Yi Chen's facial expression didn't change at all, but his eyes were getting sharper and sharper, as if he could see through everything and see through everything. Seeing Yi Chen's cold expression, Hong Qianjun was extremely annoyed. He swore to himself that he would crush Yi Chen's confidence, step on his face and give him a good beating. He would like to see if Yi Chen could still be so arrogant and not beg for mercy. Die! Mountain-shattering stamp. Hong Qianjun quickly locked his hands together and launched a wave of yellow-colored palm prints. These palm prints were extremely solid, they looked like small mountains that were sealed within them. What surprised everyone was that Yi Chen didn't take the attack head-on. Instead, he twisted his body and swam downwards like a fish. His movement was incredibly fast, it was hard to imagine that someone could move so fast in the water. The pure Jun Jin Qi condensed into a Qi sword and wrapped Yi Chen up. Driven by the sword intent, the sword moved at an amazing speed. All the water currents seemed to have lost their obstacles and were easily cut open. At this moment, Yi Chen's speed was even faster than the ancient piranha fish. Where do you think you're going? Hong Qianjun was stunned for a second when he saw that his attack had failed, he immediately chased after Yi Chen. The pressure in the water was too great, and Hong Qianjun wasn't good at moving, so he was left further and further behind. While being shocked by Yi Chen's speed, Hong Qianjun pushed his Jin Qi to its limit. His Jin Qi was boiling behind him like water, creating a strong pushing force. Finally, Hong Qianjun locked onto Yi Chen from afar, and launched another attack. Waves of palm prints collided with Yi Chen's body, causing the water currents to become chaotic. The chase lasted for a short while. Yi Chen suddenly stopped, turned around and launched a sword attack towards Hong Qianjun. Mountain-shattering sword Qi. Hong Qianjun laughed out. He thought that Yi Chen had lost his mind, so he hurriedly launched the earth-splitting and border-conquering art to defend himself. However, when he launched the art, his Jin Qi slightly stagnated, but he didn't notice it. The only thought in his mind was to kill Yi Chen and trample him under his feet. Scorching hot sparks splashed out in all directions, boiling the surrounding water currents. In the center of the sparks, the sword Qi continuously hacked on the illusory city outside Hong Qianjun's body. The frequency of the sword Qi was so high that even the surrounding water currents started vibrating, synchronizing with the frequency of the sword Qi. Crack! Suddenly, a cracking sound of something hard breaking came out. The sword Qi's power became stronger than before. Compared to before, it didn't weaken at all, on the contrary, it had become unprecedentedly stronger. As for the Jin Qi's exhaustion, it was as if everything that had happened before was just an illusion. A large crack appeared on the illusory city, and it seemed like it was about to be broken. Hong Qianjun was frightened. Impossible. How can you still have so much Jin Qi? Chapter 152. You don't need to worry about my Jin Qi. As for your Jin Qi, I guess you only have 30 to 40% left. Although your defensive skill is quite powerful, it obviously consumes a lot of Jin Qi. Just now, you forced yourself to use your Jin Qi to chase after me, plus you continuously cast the mountain-shattering stamp, your Jin Qi has been consumed even more. Yi Chen's voice wasn't loud, but it was as sharp as a sword, easily piercing through Hong Qianjun's heart. Hong Qianjun became angry out of shame. What about you? You should have run out of Jin Qi long ago. The sword continued cutting the small city, creating bigger and bigger cracks. Yi Chen said blandly, unfortunately, I have a pill that can instantly replenish my Jin Qi. I have already swallowed it when I was chasing after you. Half of what he said was true. The pill that could instantly replenish one's Jin Qi was real, but only one pill was fake. In fact, he had a whole gourd full of pills. He didn't know the name of this pill, but he knew that it was very useful. Apart from improving one's Jin Qi, it could also instantly replenish one's Jin Qi, which was many times better than the other pills that could replenish one's Jin Qi. The illusory city formed by his Jin Qi was on the verge of collapsing. Hong Qianjun said word by word, very good, you are the first one under the clasping Yuan realm who could force me to this extent. But, do you really think that you can defeat me? Divide the land, seal the border, condense. Hong Qianjun instantly released the remaining Jin Qi from his body. The illusory city suddenly shrunk a little bit, and the cracks on it gradually closed up. It became more and more solid and thick. The defensive power of the city was so strong that even Yi Chen's sword qi couldn't break it. After reaching the clasping Yuan realm, my Jin Qi recovery speed has been greatly increased. Now, I don't need to attack, I just need to defend. I can recover my Jin Qi bit by bit. By then, you will have consumed half of your Jin Qi, and that will be the time of your death. While saying these words, Hong Qianjun was so angry that he almost lost his mind. He had never thought that a late-condensing reality realm warrior would be able to push him to this extent. If he didn't kill Yi Chen, he would never be able to eat or sleep in peace. Yi Chen's expression was cold. I want to see how long you can defend. Sword Qi Mountain. Although this sword technique could last for a long time, it would eventually run out of energy. If he continued to use his Jin Qi, the effect would be greatly reduced. Yi Chen decided to cut off his Jin Qi and slashed out again. The violent sword Qi fiercely cut through the illusory city, creating thousands of sparks. Of the two of them, one focused on defense, while the other focused on offense. The audience was dumbfounded. Before the previous one subsides, another one rises. I can't even see this battle clearly anymore. Lu Hanshan let out a long breath and said with a bitter smile. Zhu Mei said, being able to force Hong Qianjun to use all of his strength to defend himself, junior brother Ye's fighting strength is really amazing. But Hong Qianjun shouldn't be underestimated either. That defensive skill is unbelievably powerful, it's definitely a mid-rank Earth Realm skill. Indeed, if Hong Qianjun didn't have this defensive skill, he would have been defeated by Brother Yi long ago. Su Jing didn't say anything. She was waiting for Yi Chen to launch a thunderous attack, the kind that would make his opponent have no chance to fight back. In the distance, Ouyang Ming gasped in shock. Yi Chen's power made his hair stand on end. Even Hong Qianjun, who was ranked 69th in the Hidden Dragon ranking and had already stepped into the clasping Yuan realm, was forced to use all of his strength to defend, not daring to fight back. Ouyang Lai, the Thunder Hand, said with a murderous look on his face, if Yi Chen doesn't die, our Purple Sun Martial School will never have a peaceful day. Wait until both of them are badly injured, then you and I will use all of our strength to kill Yi Chen. Kill him with one strike, then we will leave immediately, in case we get surrounded by Lu Hanshan and the others. Exactly, this guy is too terrifying. If we don't kill him, we will lose our position in the Windy Nation. We have to kill him. Ouyang Ming said viciously. Hong Qianjun had consumed a lot of his Jin Qi. Once again, a small crack appeared on the solid city wall. The crack seemed to be very small, but it couldn't be ignored, because every time the sword Qi struck on the crack would expand at a visible speed. In a short while, the city would definitely fall. Humph, I'll let you be proud for now, when my Jin Qi recovers to 50%, I'll be able to turn the situation around. Hong Qianjun didn't worry about the small crack at all, he did it on purpose, he wanted to confuse Yi Chen and make him think that he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. All of a sudden, Hong Qianjun's facial expression changed. In his sight, Yi Chen suddenly took back his sword, took a step forward with his left foot, and raised the long sword with his right hand. Yi Chen seemed to have entered a mysterious realm. In the next moment, a stream of extremely sharp qi gathered on the tip of the sword. What does he want to do? Does he still have a special skill? Impossible. A dangerous thought flashed across Hong Qianjun's mind. He was about to activate the conferred territory art to solidify his defense, but it was already too late. Single sword move. Yi Chen held the hidden cloud sword in his hand, and swung it out in an extremely simple and gentle way. This move seemed to be slow, but was actually incredibly fast, because both Yi Chen's arm and the hidden cloud sword seemed to have disappeared. Yi Chen could only see a beam of white light flashing across the air at a speed that was so fast that it couldn't be seen by the naked eye, as if the water didn't exist. In a twinkling of an eye, the beam of white light struck on the crack on the city wall. Crack! The city wall, which was incomparably sturdy, suddenly cracked open from the middle. Puff! A large amount of blood spurted out from Hong Qianjuan's mouth. The protective layer of Zhen Qi around Hong Qianjuan's body had already been shattered, and a bone-deep slash appeared on his chest. Inside his body, the sword Qi had been violently cutting his meridians and muscles, and even his Zhen Qi, which had been circulating in a regular pattern, had been cut into pieces. Without the support of his Zhen Qi, the city wall suddenly collapsed, turning into yellow light spots and dissipating in the air. I'm the eldest disciple of the Multiple Mountain Martial School. If you kill me, even if you run to the end of the world, you'll still be dead. Do you want to die? Hong Qianjun glared at Yi Chen with his mouth covered with blood. He didn't believe that Yi Chen would dare to kill him. The Multiple Mountain Martial School was a rank 7 institution in the White Mystery Nation, a mid-level nation. It was an extremely powerful martial artist, and even the leader of the school was an early astral-reaching realm martial artist. If Yi Chen dared to kill him, even if he fled to the Sky Cloud Martial School, it would still be useless. The Multiple Mountain Martial School would definitely pressure the leaders of the Sky Cloud Martial School to hand over Yi Chen. Yi Chen responded blandly, if you knew that this day would come, why did you do it? Seeing that Yi Chen didn't attack him, Hong Qianjun was secretly happy. This guy is indeed a coward. But since you have offended me, Hong Qianjun, you should be prepared to be killed in the future. I'll make you beg for death in order to avenge the humiliation you've suffered today. Hong Qianjun said, a martial artist only has one life. If you let me go now, I'll let bygones be bygones. But if you don't, you know the consequences. Sometimes, you can't take the wrong path. Once you make a wrong step, you'll ruin your future. Puff! Before Hong Qianjun could finish his last word, a stream of sword qi chopped his head off. Blood mixed with water spurted out tens of meters high. Since you've already offended me, there's no other way out. Therefore, you have to die. Yi Chen said with an indifferent face. Brother Yi, did you kill Hong Qianjun? Seeing that Yi Chen had broken Hong Qianjuan's defense, Lu Hanshan and the other two hurriedly rushed over. On the way, Hong Qianjun and Yi Chen didn't know what Hong Qianjun had said to Yi Chen, but both of them seemed to be in a stalemate. When they arrived, they saw Yi Chen chopping Hong Qianjuan's head off with a single sword strike. Yi Chen said, if I don't kill him today, he will definitely kill me in the future. You're right. Lu Hanshan helplessly nodded. The true spirit continent was a cruel world. People who were too weak would never be able to stand out. Therefore, they had to be cruel and merciless. If they didn't do anything, they would be fine. Zhu Mei sighed. A hidden dragon-ranked martial artist had died just like that. In the end, he was blinded by his own greed. Yi Chen is dead, he's dead. He killed Hong Qianjun, the Multiple Mountain Martial School will never let him go. Let's go, we have to leave now. In a couple of days, when we get out of the Heavenly Dream Ancient region, we'll tell the elders of the Multiple Mountain Martial School about Hong Qianjuan's death. They will kill Yi Chen. Ouyang Lai's eyebrows twitched. Yi Chen's cruelty and mercilessness made him tremble in fear. Ouyang Ming's face turned pale as he said, Hong Qianjuan's death is a big deal. He was seeking his own death. You can live if you want to, but you can't live if you want to. Let's go, in case he finds us. Both of them activated their Zhen Qi and prepared to leave. Do you think you can leave? A voice was heard from behind them. The two turned around to look, and they were shocked to see Yi Chen, who was wrapped in Qi swords, shooting towards them at an alarming speed. Yi Chen, what do you want? We're disciples of the Purple Sun Martial School, if you kill me, you won't be able to. Ouyang Ming's head was sent flying into the air. His eyes were wide open, as if he couldn't believe that he was dead. He didn't want to die, he still had a long way to go. Ouyang Lai pointed his finger at Yi Chen and said, "You killed Ouyang Ming, you killed him. From now on, my Purple Sun Martial School will never forgive you. My Ouyang family will chop you into pieces. Just wait for your death. Just wait for the day when your Yi family will be destroyed." So much bullshit. Yi Chen wielded his arm and released a stream of sword chi, cutting Ouyang Lai into two. Those two bastards. Luckily, we didn't let them get away. Otherwise, we'd all be dead. He would definitely tell others about what happened to Hong Qianjun. Lu Hanshan was still scared. He couldn't even imagine what would happen if the multiple mountain martial schools people knew that Hong Qianjun was killed by Yi Chen. Zhu Mei hated Ouyang Lai to the bone since long ago. She didn't even know how many Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples had been killed by him. Good. All of this is because of them. Otherwise, Hong Qianjun wouldn't have come to us for no reason. Now that Hong Qianjun is dead, they still want to put the blame on us. Maybe this is a plan made by the Purple Sun Martial School's leaders long ago. They want all four of us to die in the Heavenly Dream Ancient region. Oh right, Brother Yi, how did you find them? They were nearly 1,000 meters away from us. Clang. Putting the hidden cloud sword back into its sheath, Yi Chen said, "I found them long ago, but I didn't do anything. Therefore, I don't think they can open their mouths to talk." Yi Chen's soul power was extremely powerful. He could spread his soul power out for over 1,000 meters. Before the fight against Hong Qianjun started, he had already searched around with his soul power. As expected, the two top-ranked disciples of the Purple Sun Martial School were right in front of him. They probably wanted to watch him die, but unfortunately, in the end, they were the ones who died. Since then, including those disciples who had been killed by the others or the ancient beasts of the Heavenly Dream Ancient region, all the Purple Sun Martial School's disciples had been killed. Su Jing said, "From now on, the Purple Sun Martial School's younger generation will no longer be able to compete with us anymore. No matter what, let's go to the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace. It's been a long time. Let's go down." The four of them activated their Jin Qi and moved downwards. Chapter 153. After diving for about 3,000 meters, his protective Jin Qi layer had been compressed to only half an inch away from his skin, which was an extremely dangerous distance. Once his protective Jin Qi layer was shattered, it would be extremely hard for him to get it back up again. After that, he would have to rely on his ability to hold his breath. Fortunately, 3,000 meters was already close to the bottom of the lake. Rumble. Intense vibrations spread out in all directions. Faintly, colorful lights came from the front. Some of these lights were extremely sharp, some were as heavy as a mountain, and some even froze the water into ice. "There's a fight going on 1,200 meters ahead, let's go check it out." Yi Chen took back his soul power and said to the other three. At the bottom of the lake was a magnificent palace. No one knew what kind of material the palace was made from. It looked like gold or jade, but it didn't look like gold or jade. The whole palace was shining with a colorful light, giving people a mysterious feeling. Surrounding the palace was a broad square made of white marble. On the square, nearly 400 disciples had been attacking a tens of meters long, scaleless, golden gray, gigantic serpent. This gigantic serpent was extremely powerful. Even though it was being attacked by nearly 400 people at the same time, it was still extremely fierce and unstoppable. Normal attacks couldn't even break its defense. Only clasping Yuan Realm Hidden Dragon ranked martial artists could cause some damage to it. The ancient black gold serpent is powerful, individual attacks won't be effective. Everybody line up and attack it together. The one who said this was Lu Zhao, the top-ranked disciple of the White Mysterious Nation's Rank 7 institution, the White Deer Cave. He was also a young martial artist ranked 61st in the last Hidden Dragon ranked. Lu Zhao is right, everybody line up. The other hidden dragon-ranked martial artists knew that if they continued like this, they wouldn't know how long it would take. Therefore, they all used their own power to unite the other disciples. Damn it, they always get all the benefits, they only use us when we are in trouble. What can we do? We have to lower our heads when we are in trouble. Anyway, we have to kill this black gold serpent sooner or later, otherwise we won't be able to enter the heavenly dream battle palace. Just bear with it. Once you step into the clasping Yuan realm, you can be just as arrogant. Many disciples were not happy about this. Many of their brothers and sisters had been killed by those hidden dragon-ranked martial artists. At this moment, when they heard that Lu Zhao wanted to control them, they subconsciously refused to accept it. On the other side, a martial disciple suddenly died. The one who killed him wasn't the dark gold python, but the terrifying Yuan Hanying. I gave you face, but you don't want it. What's the point of keeping you alive? Smiling cruelly, Yuan Hanying raised his head and said to the others, whoever dares to disobey the command, kill without mercy. Too tyrannical, killing people at every turn. 700 or 800 meters away, Zhu Mei looked angry. Luo Hanshan let out a long breath and said calmly, I think we'd better not go there right now. That Yuan Hanying is very aggressive, we might be used as cannon fodder by him once we go there and fight against that ancient dark gold serpent. Although this dark gold serpent is only a level 5 demonic beast, ancient demonic beasts have always been very powerful and have great defensive power. Even mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artists would have to step back when facing it. Brother Yi, Luo Hanshan thought that he would be able to convince the others, but unexpectedly, Yi Chen was the first one to walk out. After taking a few steps, Yi Chen turned around and said, there's no need to hide from him, we can form a battle formation by ourselves. I believe that many of those martial disciples who have grudges against him will join us. Indeed, Brother Yi is not much weaker than Yuan Hanying, why do you still hide? Su Jing also walked out. Luo Hanshan gave a bitter smile. The protective layer of qi kept the water out, only the breathable air could get in. Yi Chen took a deep breath. He decided to go over, not because he was confident that he could fight against Yuan Hanying, but because he didn't want to lose the heart of a sword artist. To be a sword artist, one had to be fearless. In a situation where the power gap was not huge, hiding was not the way to solve the problem, on the contrary, it would make one lose the spirit. The four of them moved extremely fast, within a few blinks of an eye, they had already arrived in the middle of the martial disciples. It's you. Yuan Hanying narrowed his eyes, seeming to be a bit surprised. He licked his lips and said coldly, you guys, come over here, stand in the front row. Seeing this, the other martial disciples were all shocked. Obviously, Yuan Hanying was going to use the 4 Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples as cannon fodder. Compared to him, they themselves were not any better. After all, the dark gold serpent was not something that could be stopped by just a few cannon fodders. When the time came, the second batch of cannon fodders would definitely come. However, even though they knew that they might become cannon fodders, they still had to endure it. They didn't dare to disobey Yuan Hanying, who had killed countless people. At least, they still had a chance to survive against the dark gold serpent. Yi Chen didn't even take a glance at Yuan Hanying, his voice spread out along with his Zhenqi. Who wants to join our battle formation and fight against the dark gold serpent together? Once he said this, everyone was shocked. Even those who were fighting against the dark gold serpent couldn't help but glance over. Yuan Hanying laughed out of anger, you have challenged my patience over and over again. Very good. Today, even if you don't want to come, you will have to come. Otherwise, I will kill you. Even if you want to kill me, you will have to pay with your life. I'm just afraid that you can't afford it. Yi Chen's voice was as sharp as metal, piercing through the water. The sharp qi released from his body was even sharper than when he was on the lakeside, and contained an unshakable will. The previous fierce fight with Hong Qianjun had made Yi Chen's understanding of the sword intent reach a new level. If it weren't for the fact that he was limited by his cultivation, killing Yuan Hengying would be as easy as killing a dog. Even so, Yi Chen was 30% sure that he could kill Yuan Hengying, so there was no need for him to retreat. Good, since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Eagle swooping in the sky. Yuan Hengying was extremely angry. His body shook and rose straight up into the sky. After that, the Zhenqi eagle flew out of his body and swooped down towards Yi Chen. Chop! Once the sword qi was released, the water started to flow in a reverse direction. The strong sword qi made people slightly dazed. Puff! The Zhenqi eagle's chest was cut open by the sword, it let out a long cry, flapped its wings against the sword qi, and let out a loud metal clashing sound. In the next moment, the water was sucked into this space and formed into a 10-meter wide water ball, then it expanded and exploded. Boom! A thunderous sound was heard. What? He blocked Yuan Hengying's attack. Who the hell is this Sky Cloud Martial School's disciple? Even if Yuan Hengying had only used 80% of his power, a late-condensing reality realm warrior still couldn't compete with him. It's really incredible. Don't you think that it looks like the sword intent? Yeah, why didn't I think of it? That is definitely the sword intent, no wonder he is not afraid of Yuan Hengying. Everyone was shocked. Yuan Hengying's eyes had turned red like a devil, which meant that he had already decided to kill Yi Chen. As for the fact that Yi Chen had mastered the sword intent, it didn't affect him at all. A dead sword artist, why would he need the sword intent? If he didn't kill Yi Chen today, he would bring himself a powerful enemy. Today, you will die. I wanted to kill you on the lakeside. No one has ever escaped from me, Yuan Hengying. Yuan Hengying pushed his Zhenqi to its limit, an even bigger Zhenqi eagle was formed. It flapped its wings, causing the water to flow in reverse. Enough. All of a sudden, a cold voice came. Everyone looked towards the source of the voice, and their faces changed. It was Xue Hen, the head disciple of the Invisible Martial School, a rank 7 institution in the Sky Serpent Nation. He was ranked 57th in the last Hidden Dragon rank, which was 2 ranks higher than Yuan Hengying. He said blandly, killing that black gold serpent is the most important thing right now. Once we kill him, you can do whatever you want. Yuan Hengying turned his head, his face darkened. Xue Hen, you and I are minding our own business. What right do you have to interfere with my business? I'm just reminding you, don't forget why you came to the Heavenly Dream Ancient Region. Fighting over personal feelings will only bring you trouble. Yuan Hengying, Xue Hen is right. Killing that black gold serpent is the most important thing right now. Opening the gate of the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace is the most important thing, let's put everything else aside for now. Lu Zhao, the head disciple of the White Deer Cave, also said. Yuan Hengying slightly restrained his Zhenqi, he decided to wait for a while longer. Once he reached the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace and made some progress in his cultivation, he would immediately chase after Yi Chen. As for now, he wasn't so sure about killing Yi Chen. He had already seen how powerful Yi Chen's sword intent was during the Hidden Dragon rank, it was not something that ordinary people could imagine. Luo Hanshan was secretly happy. Yuan Hengying didn't seem to be much more powerful than Yi Chen, otherwise, he wouldn't have listened to Luo Hanshan's advice at all. It seemed that Yi Chen's decision was right. When one's power was almost the same as Yi Chen's, one should never step back, otherwise, it would be harmful to one's future growth. Yi Chen didn't know what Luo Hanshan was thinking, he said loudly, those who are willing to join our battle formation, come here right now, I can guarantee that you won't be harmed. I'm in. I'm in too. And our 7 Mystery Martial School. Immediately, a large group of disciples came to Yi Chen's area, most of them were from Yuan Hengying's battle formation. Seeing this, Yuan Hengying was enraged, his eyes shone with a bright red light. Hiss, 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 the dark gold serpent was indeed a fifth-grade ancient beast. Even under the joint attack of all kinds of battle formations, it was still incomparably powerful. From time to time, 2 or 3 disciples would be whipped into two by its tail, blood splashing everywhere. However, by now, it had already become a cornered beast. Every single hidden dragon-ranked martial artist was powerful enough to challenge those who were at a higher cultivation level than him. Although the dark gold serpent was powerful, how could it possibly withstand the joint attack of so many people? As time went by, it was forced to retreat step by step, unable to stop any effective attacks. Kill! Kill! Waves of fierce air power landed on the dark gold serpent's body, causing blood to spurt out. As for those hidden dragon-ranked martial artists, they would always attack the vital parts of the dark gold serpent. Their attacks were more than 10 times more powerful than those ordinary disciples. Obviously, they were the main attacking force. After around half an hour, the dark gold serpent let out a wail, its gigantic body heavily thudded against the ground and stopped breathing. Creak! Once the dark gold serpent died, the heavenly dream battle palace seemed to have sensed it. The huge iron gate opened automatically and a pure white light shone on everyone. Buzz! The Zhen Qi inside his body vibrated. Yi Chen found that under the white light, he had already reached the peak of the late condensing reality realm. It was as if he had reached the peak of the late condensing reality realm without any hindrance. Yi Chen couldn't help but be stunned for a moment, then thought to himself, maybe it's because of the fight against Hong Qianjun, my Zhen Qi cultivation has been strengthened, and I only need to cultivate for a few days to reach the peak of the late condensing reality realm. Chapter 154. Although the gap between the late condensing reality realm and the peak of the late condensing reality realm was not that big, but for Yi Chen, it was extremely valuable. Before, he was 30% sure that he could kill Yuan Hengying, but now, he was 40% sure. If he could step into the clasping Yuan realm, killing Yuan Hengying would be as easy as chopping melons and vegetables. The other disciples all felt that their cultivation had improved, but none of them managed to make a breakthrough like Yi Chen. The gate of the heavenly dream battle palace is open, let's go. Let's go. As soon as this white light shone on me, I felt so much better. I can definitely break into the clasping Yuan realm if I get in there. Except for the hidden dragon-ranked martial artists, most of the other disciples had gone crazy. Why did they risk their lives to enter the heavenly dream ancient region? Of course, it was to break into the clasping Yuan realm. As long as they could become clasping Yuan realm martial artists, they would be as powerful as those hidden dragon-ranked martial artists. They wouldn't need to be scared anymore, and they wouldn't need to lower their heads. Piss off. The hidden dragon-ranked martial artists were the fastest, their bodies flashed across the air and darted into the palace gate. Among them, Yuan Hengying had killed a disciple who had been blocking his way in a cruel and brutal way. Looking at those crazy disciples, Luo Hanzhan said, "Let's go in as well." Yi Chen activated his Zhen Qi for a few times, found nothing wrong. He nodded and said, "This heavenly dream battle palace is indeed very helpful for breaking into the clasping Yuan realm." I think so too. The 4 of them followed closely behind the others and entered the palace, which was filled with a dense white light. Huh! Taking a deep breath, Zhu Mei said in surprise, "What a dense and pure Yuan Qi. It's so much better than the Yuan Qi from spirit stones, I can absorb it with almost no effort." In fact, even without Zhu Mei's reminder, the 3 of them had already sensed the change of the Yuan Qi once they entered the palace. However, the white light in the palace seemed to be way too strong. Once they entered, they were completely blinded. They couldn't see or sense anything, even Yi Chen's soul power had lost its effect. It seemed that only the most basic sense of touch and hearing still existed. After about a quarter of an hour, the palace door behind him suddenly closed with a heavy sound. Then, as if there was a small earthquake in the palace, the rumbling sound was continuous, rising and falling. Suddenly, the floor under Yi Chen's feet sank, and there seemed to be something above sealing this space. "Be careful, the internal structure of the palace has changed," Yi Chen quickly warned. But no one answered. Letting out a bitter smile, Yi Chen realized that they had been separated from each other. Well, the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace wouldn't kill people on their own, so there shouldn't be any danger. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, Yi Chen was about to meditate and cultivate. Visible to the naked eye, the incomparably dense white light shrank into a ball and entered a huge crystal ball. The crystal ball was colorful and suspended in the air. Yi Chen quietly observed the situation. Buzz! The air slightly vibrated, and gradually, a human-shaped white silhouette appeared under the crystal ball. The silhouette was holding a great sword, with a straight back. If one looked closely, one would find that this silhouette was exactly the same as Yi Chen's, even the great sword was exactly the same. It was like a clone of Yi Chen. Of course, a silhouette was only a silhouette after all, it was pure white, without any facial features. At first glance, one could easily tell that it was created by some kind of energy, and not a real person. Swoosh! Once the white silhouette was formed, it took a step forward and launched a sword attack towards Yi Chen. Peak of the late condensing reality realm. Yi Chen sensed that the Zhen Qi vibration of the silhouette was exactly the same as his own. The speed and power of the silhouette's attack were both amazing, almost as powerful as Luo Hanshan's. In other words, the silhouette was at the level of the Windy Nation's child-to-be. Yi Chen wasn't a passive person, and if he guessed it right, this was the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace's test, only by defeating the silhouette could one be qualified to stay. Clang! The hidden cloud sword was pulled out of the scabbard, Yi Chen brushed past the silhouette. In the next moment, the silhouette's right arm, which was holding the sword, was sent flying into the air. Wisps of white light emerged from the wound. The silhouette, which had lost an arm, still tried to attack Yi Chen, but its head was chopped off by Yi Chen. The silhouette then transformed back into a stream of white light and flew back into the crystal ball. At the same time, in the enclosed space, which was less than 300 meters away, the same thing was happening. What the hell, it's as powerful as me, and it even has martial skills. It's only slightly weaker than me, but it seems to be quite hard to defeat it. Why is it different from the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace's test 10 years ago? It's always the same. Some people were fighting intensely against the silhouette, and it was hard to tell who would win. Although some of them could suppress the silhouette, they couldn't defeat it within a short period of time, and some of them were surprised and didn't know how to react. All in all, everyone was taking the test, and the difficulty of the test depended on each individual's strength. The first round of the test had ended. 5 of their disciples were hit by the silhouette, and were sent out of the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace. In the scorching ancient desert, beside the gigantic door of light, 5 silhouettes darted out of the door and landed on the thick sand. Yao Kai, Li Jing. These 5 people just happened to be the disciples of the sects that had failed the test. They crawled up from the sand with stunned expressions, and then they seemed to have thought of something. They had a dejected look on their faces, and they didn't even hear the shouts of their respective sects' elders. You failed, no one will blame you. Go back and work hard, don't ever give up, otherwise, you won't be able to make any progress in the future. How many of our disciples are left? What? You're the only one left. Some of the elders encouraged them, some asked about the situation inside, and some of them heard the bad news. They beat their chests and stamped their feet, crying. The people inside the palace didn't know what was happening outside, and even if they knew, they wouldn't be able to be distracted. As the first round of the test ended, the second round began. Child-level power from the Windy Nation. Yi Chen's face turned serious. The silhouette in front of him wasn't that powerful, but it was already so powerful in the second round. The third and fourth rounds, and the later rounds, would undoubtedly be even more difficult. If one wanted to pass the second round, he would not only have to rely on his own power, but also his fighting skills. The silhouette dashed over, and Yi Chen swung his sword. Puff! The silhouette's head flew out, transformed into a beam of white light, and merged into the crystal ball. The second round of the test ended, and the number of disciples who had failed doubled. In the first round, there were only 5, and in this round, there were 35. As the number of people who had failed increased, outside the Heavenly Dream Ancient region, all the institutions in the scorching ancient desert had learned about the situation inside the palace, and were all stunned. It wasn't that they didn't know that the Heavenly Dream Ancient region was a place that would devour people, but out of the 660 people who had entered the palace, only less than 300 managed to make it out alive. The others were either killed by the ancient demonic beasts inside, or killed by the disciples of other institutions, or killed by the ancient black gold boa. The death rate had reached a record high, over 55%. Fortunately, 1 out of 10 of the people who survived had a chance to step into the clasping Yuan realm. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be able to enter the Heavenly Dream Ancient region. Too many people died. Fortunately, not all of our disciples died. The third round of the test began. This time, the silhouette was as powerful as the top 100 of the last hidden dragon ranking, which was almost the same as Qiu Heng, who was in the swamp, and had the power to kill warriors at the same level as him within seconds. After easily killing this silhouette, Yi Chen sensed something different. Every time his attack landed on the silhouette's body, a magical vibration would be transmitted to his own body, and as the vibration became more and more obvious, Yi Chen realized that there was a stream of extremely pure Yuan Qi contained within the vibration, which would help him improve his cultivation. In other words, every time he fought, he was actually making progress. The longer he could last, the more progress he would make, and in the end, he might even be able to step into the clasping Yuan realm. After figuring this out, Yi Chen let out a long breath and thought, I finally understand, the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace is not only a test, but also an opportunity, it depends on whether I can grasp it or not. The third round of the test was not difficult for Yi Chen, but it was extremely difficult for the others. In the 7th sealed space on the east side, Lu Hanzhan was gasping heavily. The silhouette in front of him was slightly more powerful than him, it was almost impossible for him to defeat it with his own power. What should I do? Am I going to be eliminated like this? No, since it's a test, there must be a way to pass. Boom! Without giving Lu Hanzhan too much time to think, the silhouette launched a heavy punch. The tremendous power contained in that punch was as great as a mountain, as great as a river, surging violently. East Rising Purple Qi, Great Monument Suppression. Lu Hanzhan tried his best to push the extreme purple art and the Great Monument Heavenly King Fist to their limits, combining them into a special defensive skill to protect himself. Crack! The purple monument couldn't even hold for 3 blinks of an eye, and suddenly shattered. Lu Hanzhan rolled away in embarrassment, dodging the terrifying punch launched by the silhouette. At the same time, his qi and blood were boiling inside his body, and his eyes were seeing stars. Oh right, if I can reach the peak of the 9th level of the extreme purple art, I might be able to defeat him. Lu Hanzhan's eyes shone. The 9th level of the extreme purple art was called East Rising Purple Qi. The peak of the 9th level of the extreme purple art could draw a purple lotus out of the air, and with the protection of the lotus, the defensive power of the cultivator would be raised by many times. The silhouette launched another attack, but Lu Hanzhan didn't back off. Instead, he pushed the extreme purple art to its limit and launched 2 punches in a row. In the other sealed space, Su Jing had released her unprecedented power, and was fighting against the silhouette. Every single punch landed on the silhouette's body, and the fierce gale generated by the punches shook the air like water. The golden light emitted by the 2 silhouettes was sometimes dim, sometimes brighter, and sometimes dimmer. If Lu Hanzhan and Zhu Mei were here, they would definitely be shocked, because Su Jing's opponent was even more powerful than young Master North Snow and young Master Duanmu. According to their previous understanding of Su Jing, she had never reached this level, which meant that Su Jing had been hiding her real power all this time. Clang! The silhouette and Su Jing's fists clashed against each other, and let out a terrifying metal clanging noise. Dazzling fire sparks splashed everywhere, and the air was extremely hot. Break! While locking the silhouette's right arm with her left hand, Su Jing's body suddenly shook, and a solid golden light burst out from her body, striking on the silhouette's body and disabling it from moving. After that, Su Jing took the opportunity and threw out a punch, hitting the silhouette's head. With a popping sound, the silhouette transformed into a beam of white light and merged into the crystal ball. Chapter 155. Many people hadn't finished their third round yet, but Yi Chen's fourth round had already begun. The white silhouette was at the early clasping Yuan realm. His strong Jin Qi vibration could be sensed from a long distance away, and the air started to ripple like water. Come on! Yi Chen had killed Hong Qianjun and fought against Yuan Henging, so he was not afraid of this silhouette at all. He held the hidden cloud sword in his right hand and prepared to launch his sword intent. Swish! The white light figure suddenly disappeared, and when it reappeared, it was already in the sky above Yi Chen. It slashed down from the sky, and the majestic sword pressure was like a mountain, like a long river, piercing through the void, heading straight for Yi Chen. The attack was unexpectedly fierce. Yi Chen was slightly surprised. He raised his sword to block the attack. Crack! The floor under Yi Chen's feet was dented, and dark cracks spread out like a spider web. Dominate the world! With his tongue against his teeth, Yi Chen let out a shout, clenched his left hand into a fist, and threw out a punch. The silhouette didn't even think about it, and threw out a punch. Boom! Yi Chen's feet sank half a foot into the ground, while the silhouette was blown away by the power of Yi Chen's punch, and a slight crack appeared on its left arm. Just as I thought, this silhouette's defense is not as good as mine. Jumping out of the pit, Yi Chen released a thick stream of sword qi, chasing after the silhouette, intending to kill it with a single sword strike. The silhouette was at the early clasping Yuan realm. It twisted its body in the air, narrowly dodged the sword qi, and then launched a thick stream of white sword qi towards Yi Chen in a weird posture. The air was torn apart like a piece of cloth, and the white sword qi seemed to be even more powerful than Yi Chen. Swirling clouds. From the late condensing reality realm to the peak of the late condensing reality realm, Yi Chen's Jin Qi had been greatly improved. Now, it was much easier for him to perform the shocking cloud sword art, and he didn't feel any sluggishness like he did when he was fighting against Hong Qianjun. The sword qi that contained sword intent rose straight up, twisting the air and forming a huge tornado. It smashed the white sword qi with a single strike, and then swept towards the white figure with a rumbling sound. Sharp sword qi kept shooting out from it, sparkling and resplendent. Kacha kacha kacha. There was a mysterious power in the sealed space that was repairing the marks left by the previous battle. However, its speed of repair was not as fast as Yi Chen's destruction. Hundreds of sword marks instantly appeared on the ground and the walls. Each sword mark revealed a sharp aura. The white silhouette waved his sword wildly, forming a sword screen in front of him, blocking the tornado and the sword qi. His body was pushed back step by step. Bang! With his back against the wall, the white figure had nowhere to retreat. The white light on his body flashed rapidly as he slashed out with his sword. Roar! As soon as the white sword qi appeared, dragon's roars sounded out, and the astonishing sword qi suppressed the air, bringing with it an indestructible concept that slashed apart the rampaging tornado. Still not dead. Mountain condensed sword qi. No one knew when Yi Chen had appeared above the remnants of the tornado. His clothes fluttered in the wind as he slashed down with his sword. Clang 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 clang, sparks flew everywhere, and the white figure raised his sword to block the sword qi, but he was suppressed to the point where he couldn't move. Moments later, the sword qi broke the opponent's treasured sword, and the white figure turned into white light. Buzz! As soon as Yi Chen's feet landed on the ground, a magical vibration power acted on his body. Under this vibration power, Yi Chen only felt that his bones and muscles were itching, and his Jin Qi was circulating faster than before. In addition, because of the boiling of his qi and blood, Yi Chen's face had also turned red. What a magical vibration power, it can actually improve my body and speed up the Jin Qi circulation. In the previous 3 rounds of tests, Yi Chen already knew that the vibration power could shake out the impurities in the body, which could increase the speed of training and refining Jin Qi, but it could not directly increase one's cultivation. However, compared with the current vibration power, it was obvious which one was better. When the vibration power disappeared, Yi Chen looked inside his body, and found that the Jin Qi swirl in his dantian was gradually moving closer to the center, and gradually became round. Now, I have almost stepped into the clasping Yuan realm, I only need to wait for the right time. The shape of the Jin Qi inside one's dantian would change according to one's cultivation level. In the mortal Qi realm, the Jin Qi would be in the shape of a cyclone, but in the condensing reality realm, the Jin Qi would be transformed into Jin Qi, and the quantity and quality of the Jin Qi would be greatly increased, which would transform into a Jin Qi swirl. In the clasping Yuan realm, the Jin Qi swirl would gather together and form a perfect sphere. Puff! With a single punch, Yi Chen's power had improved once again. Now, even if he had to fight against Yuan Hengying, he had 50% confidence that he could defeat him, or even kill him. At this moment, most of the people had just finished the 3rd round. The number of people who had been eliminated kept rising. 5 people were eliminated in the 1st round, 15 in the 2nd round, and over 240 people were eliminated in the 3rd round. All of them had been sent out of the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace and returned to the scorching ancient desert. Hans Han. The Sky Cloud Martial School's head elder glanced around and found Luo Hanshan in the crowd. Luo Hanshan gave a bitter smile and said, "Sorry, I failed to step into the clasping Yuan realm." Patting on Luo Hanshan's shoulder, the head elder grinned and said, "Don't worry, with your talent, it won't take you too long to step into the clasping Yuan realm. You don't have to rush." Luo Hanshan nodded and said, "It's not that I haven't made any progress, the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace is filled with rich Yuan Qi, and during the test, the vibrating power also affected my body. The Jin Qi swirl inside my body has already gone through the 3rd round of the test, and it seems to be shrinking. If I go back and cultivate for a while, I might be able to make a breakthrough." "That's great. Oh right, where are the others? Are they in danger?" The head elder looked nervous. Every single one of Yi Chen and the other 3 were the future pillars of the Sky Cloud Martial School, losing any one of them would be a great loss, especially Yi Chen. Geniuses who had mastered the half-step sword intent were not as common as cabbages, they were extremely rare. If they lost Yi Chen this time, no one knew how many years they would have to wait for the next time. Luo Hanshan glanced at the direction of the Purple Sun Martial School, then sent his Jin Qi to the head elder and said, "Head elder, Brother Yi has mastered the true sword intent, and he has also killed the Thunderhand Ouyang Lai and the Little Godly Kick Ouyang Ming. These 2 had been trying to kill us, but in the end, they were killed by Brother Yi." "It's true." The head elder's voice was a bit high-pitched. Fortunately, he had used his Jin Qi to send the message, otherwise, he would have made a fool of himself. Luo Hanshan smiled and said, "How could I say something without thinking? It's absolutely true. Great, Yi Chen has actually mastered the sword intent, he is indeed a peerless genius of our Sky Cloud Martial School, it seems like even the gods want our Sky Cloud Martial School to prosper." The head elder grinned from ear to ear. If Yi Chen, who had mastered the half-step sword intent, was like an unpolished jade, then Yi Chen, who had mastered the sword intent, was like a peerless jade, which didn't need to be polished anymore. Luo Hanshan continued, "Zhu Mei and sister Su Jing are both doing well, they haven't come out yet. Perhaps, they are currently in the 4th round of the test, and have a great chance to break into the clasping Yuan realm." Luo Hanshan didn't use his Jin Qi to send this message, but the fourth elder and the other inner elders all heard it. The fourth elder laughed out loud and said, "Compared to our generation, you are so much more outstanding. In just a few years, we will have to give up our positions." Hee, it's better for us to give up our positions. Nowadays, the world belongs to young people. You're right. Back then, when we were fighting against the 9 evil cult, our Sky Cloud Martial School suffered a great loss. Our generation hasn't even grown up yet, but we have already become inner elders. You are much more outstanding than us, you can still take up this position. Compared to the other institutions, the Sky Cloud Martial School's side was filled with laughter. In the Purple Sun Martial School's direction. The head elder of the Purple Sun Martial School had a gloomy look on his face. He said to an inner elder who was standing next to him, "I wonder how Ouyang Lai and Ouyang Ming are doing. As for the others, they are most likely dead. Ouyang Lai and Ouyang Ming are very powerful, it's not very likely that they are dead. The others are not as powerful, so they are more likely to be dead." The head elder looked at Luo Hanshan, a killing intent flashed across his eyes. "It seems that they haven't finished the task I gave them." Luo Hanshan came out alive. "Don't worry about Luo Hanshan, he hasn't reached the clasping Yuan realm yet. If you want to worry, you should worry about that kid named Yi Chen. Once he reaches the clasping Yuan realm, he will be as powerful as a mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artist. He will be a great threat to our Purple Sun Martial School in the future, we can't let him live. No matter what, we have to wait for Ouyang Lai and Ouyang Ming to come out first." Ah! All of a sudden, a raging growl came from the Multiple Mountain Martial School. The growl was mixed with Qi, it even raised the sand within a radius of tens of zhang into the air. "What did you say?" The Multiple Mountain Martial School's head elder glared at the Multiple Mountain Martial School's disciple who had just walked out. The disciple was frightened by the head elder's fierce aura. He hurriedly lowered his head and said, "Head elder, I didn't see our eldest brother Hong Qianjun in the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace, but I think he should be fine. He is an early clasping Yuan realm martial artist, and all the other hidden dragon-ranked martial artists were there. Except for them, who else could kill our eldest brother?" The Multiple Mountain Martial School's head elder yelled out, "Then where did he go?" "The Heavenly Dream Battle Palace will close in a quarter of an hour." "This? I don't know either." If something bad happens to Hong Qianjun, our Multiple Mountain Martial School will definitely investigate this thoroughly, find out who is behind this. If I find out, I will kill his whole family." Luo Hanshan's pupils shrunk, he hurriedly took back his sight. Hong Qianjun was killed by Yi Chen, he and Zhu Mei and Su Jing had witnessed it with their own eyes. At this moment, he couldn't afford to leave even the slightest trace, otherwise, if the Multiple Mountain Martial School's people noticed it, it would bring an endless disaster to the Sky Cloud Martial School. The head elder sensed that Luo Hanshan's facial expression had changed, he hurriedly sent his Jin Qi to Luo Hanshan. "Hanshan, what's wrong? What's wrong? Tell me honestly, I'm your uncle, don't you trust me?" Hesitating for a while, Luo Hanshan decided to tell the truth. In the Sky Cloud Martial School, he trusted his father Luo Xinglia and the head elder the most, both of them were his closest relatives. "Head elder, Hong Qianjun is already dead, and the one who killed him is Yi Chen. But this whole thing was started by Ouyang Lai and Ouyang Ming from the Purple Sun Martial School. If we didn't kill Hong Qianjun back then, Hong Qianjun would definitely kill us. Ouyang Lai, Ouyang Ming instigated Hong Qianjun to kill you, he must have promised him some benefits, right? I thought it was something serious, he killed Hong Qianjun, if you didn't kill him, he would kill you. This is simple, but except for your father and me, don't tell anyone else about this. Although our Sky Cloud Martial School is not a coward, we still don't want to start a war with the Multiple Mountain Martial School. I know. Chapter 156. The first, second, and third rounds had eliminated over 260 people in total. There were still around 30 people left. Among these 30 people, 8 of them were already early clasping Yuan realm warriors. It would be very hard for them to make a breakthrough, but they could still reach the peak level early clasping Yuan realm. The remaining 20 or so people might not be able to reach the clasping Yuan realm for sure. After all, everyone had different situations. For example, among the people who had been eliminated in the first 3 rounds, 6 of them had made it to the clasping Yuan realm, and did not even have the chance to take the 4th round. The 9th sealed room in the north. The blade light danced like snowflakes, fluttering in the air like a dream. Amidst the blade light, 2 pure white silhouettes clashed with each other from time to time, creating thousands of sparks. Although these 2 silhouettes were both white, one of them was slightly transparent, which was obviously a structure of energy. The other person's white clothes fluttered in the wind, and his temperament was out of this world. One didn't need to look at him with their eyes to feel the gentleness of the spring breeze. After pushing back his opponent with a single blade attack, the white-robed young man finally relaxed his eyebrows. He had finally reached the clasping Yuan realm after being stuck at the peak of the late condensing reality realm for 2 years. Raising his head, the young man revealed a handsome and gentle face. If someone was here, they would definitely recognize him as the head disciple of the North Snow Martial Academy, young Master North Snow. The 3rd sealed room in the north. The head disciple of the South Rudra Martial School, Lotus Fairy Qin Yulian, had been promoted. The 18th sealed room in the south. Zhu Mei was eliminated. The 14th sealed room in the south. Zhen Qi vibration, which only belonged to early clasping Yuan realm martial artists, burst out from Su Jing's body. With a single punch, she shattered the head of the white silhouette. Letting out a heavy breath, Su Jing slightly closed her eyes and murmured to herself, "Finally, I can practice that body-strengthening technique. I wonder if it is as powerful as the ancient scroll said." Once Su Jing made the breakthrough, a total of 3 clasping Yuan realm martial institutions in the Windy Nation had reached the level of clasping Yuan realm. They were the head disciple of the North Snow Martial Academy, Qin Yulian from the Rudra Martial School, and the core disciple of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Su Jing. As for young Master Duanmu, Blade, Yu Yu, Rain Hero Nangong Yun, Yuan Xuemei, Lu Wuxiang, and Ji Shuyan, they had all been eliminated in the first 3 rounds, just like Luo Hanshan. Right now, only Lynch and Yi Chen hadn't made any moves among the disciples of the Windy Nation. Scorching ancient desert. Outside the door of light. Young Master North Snow, Qin Yulian and Su Jing were teleported out one after another. Junior sister Su Jing, you've broken through. Both Lu Hanshan and Zhu Mei hadn't made any breakthroughs, although they were a bit disappointed, they soon stopped worrying about it. As a martial artist, the most important thing was to be persistent. A temporary loss wasn't a big deal, but a lifetime's worth of gains and losses was the most important. Perhaps, even if they didn't make any breakthroughs today, they would still be able to make great progress in the future. Of course, this trip to the Heavenly Dream Ancient region was full of dangers, and the 4 of them had gone through all kinds of hardships to get into the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace. If none of them had made any breakthroughs, that would be too unreasonable. Seeing Su Jing right now, the powerful sense of power released from her body told them the answer. Su Jing nodded and said, "The 6th round is not something that an early clasping Yuan realm martial artist can pass. I lost within 10 attacks." In the 4th round, she had already reached the early clasping Yuan realm. In the 5th round, the white silhouette had made some adjustments according to her cultivation, but she was still able to handle it. She had to exchange over 100 attacks before she could pass. However, in the 6th round, the white silhouette's power had reached the peak level mid-clasping Yuan realm. Each of its attacks had the power to shake mountains. It's great that you have reached the early clasping Yuan realm. As for whether you can pass the 6th round or not, it doesn't matter. The head elder hadn't been this happy for a long time. First, Yi Chen had attained the sword intent and killed the 2 top-ranked disciples of the Purple Sun Martial School. Then, Su Jing had stepped into the clasping Yuan realm and become a powerful young martial artist who was as powerful as young Master Emerald. All of these were great news for the Sky Cloud Martial School. Therefore, the Sky Cloud Martial School needed to hold a big banquet and invite all the powerful martial artists from all over the Windy Nation. The elders of the North Snow Martial Academy and the South Rudra Martial School were also very happy. Finally, one of their disciples had reached the clasping Yuan realm. Especially for the North Snow Martial Academy, apart from young Master North Snow, they also had the North Snow Fast Blade Lynch, who had yet to come out. Therefore, there was a 90% chance that he would become a clasping Yuan realm martial artist. You've all come out. Only Lynch and Yi Chen are still in there. I wonder how they are doing now. Luo Hanzhan said. Su Jing said, I think Yi Chen will definitely succeed. Indeed, there's a great chance. The head elder and the fourth elder both nodded. In the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace. In the 21st sealed room in the north. No one had ever imagined that Lynch would be able to last until now. It seemed that everyone had underestimated his power. Because in the fourth round, the white silhouette had already reached the early clasping Yuan realm, and in the fifth round, it was even more powerful. It was only one step away from the mid-clasping Yuan realm. Of course, this was only for ordinary martial artists. If the white silhouette had been replaced by Hong Qianjun, Lynch would have been defeated long ago. After all, Hong Qianjun was able to fight against ordinary mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artists. The battle had already started long ago. The only reason why Lynch was able to stay undefeated was because of his amazing willpower. Right now, the blade aura released from his body was getting stronger and stronger. It seemed like it was going to transform. Die. Each blade was faster than the previous one. The only thought in Lynch's mind right now was to be faster, 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 faster than his original limit, and reach a higher level. Crack. The white silhouette, who had been steadily suppressing Lynch, suddenly stopped moving. Its right arm, which was holding the great blade, was sent flying into the air. In the next moment, its body was cut into dozens of pieces and turned into white light. Buzz. The Zhen-Qi swirl in Lynch's dantian vibrated at an extremely high speed, and eventually shrank into a spherical shape, while the Zhen-Qi swirled inwards. I made a breakthrough. I didn't expect to comprehend the blade intent first, and then make a breakthrough in cultivation. If he hadn't comprehended the blade intent just now, no matter how fast his blade was, he would have failed. However, he succeeded, and became an early clasping Yuan realm martial artist. Moreover, he had also comprehended the blade intent, which was the dream of all saber artists. After the leader of the village, Xue Wuren, he was the second person in the Windy Nation who had comprehended the blade intent. The sixth round of the test. Lynch gasped. Because he had made a breakthrough in cultivation, the white silhouette had adjusted its power according to his own. It had reached the peak of the mid-clasping Yuan realm, which was even more terrifying than Su Jing, Qin Yulian and young Master North Snow's sixth round of the test. The higher one's cultivation was, the more difficult it would be to challenge someone with a higher cultivation. Lynch had just stepped into the clasping Yuan realm, which meant that he was at the bottom of the clasping Yuan realm, while the white silhouette was at the peak of the mid-clasping Yuan realm. The gap between them was not just one level, but 1.5 levels. Even if Lynch had comprehended the blade intent, he would not be able to defeat it. In the entire South Shore region, there were less than 5 young martial artists who could challenge someone with a higher cultivation than them. For example, the top 3 young martial artists in the Hidden Dragon rank, although they were only at the mid-clasping Yuan realm, they were as powerful as the leaders of the top 5 martial artists in the Windy Nation. However, in terms of talent, they were much more powerful than Lynch. As for Lynch's blade intent, it was not strange at all. Many of the top 30 young martial artists in the Hidden Dragon rank had comprehended the blade intent and the sword intent, not to mention the top 3 young martial artists in the South Shore region. The white silhouette had only launched one attack, but Lynch had been forced back for 10 steps. For the second attack, Lynch had barely dodged. For the third attack, blood gushed out from the corner of Lynch's mouth. For the sixth attack, Lynch was defeated, and was sent out of the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace. Since then, Yi Chen was the only one among the young martial artists in the Windy Nation. Lynch is out. On the scorching ancient desert, all the elders of the top 5 martial institutions of the Windy Nation looked over, staring at Lynch, who had just been sent out of the Light Gate. Lynch walked to the North Snow Martial Academy with a bland look. The other 4 martial institutions had all gained something, so their facial expressions were still normal. Only the group of people from the Purple Sun Martial Academy looked gloomy. Their eyes were filled with blood streaks, as if they wanted to kill someone. Head Elder, Ouyang Lai and Ouyang Ming might be able to hold on till now, it's hard to say. An inner elder of the Purple Sun Martial Academy couldn't stand the atmosphere anymore, and said something that even he himself didn't believe. The head elder of the Purple Sun Martial Academy snorted coldly. He didn't want to talk anymore. Although his subconscious didn't want to admit that Ouyang Lai and Ouyang Ming were already dead, his mind told him that it was hopeless. When we go back this time, secretly arrange some people to kill the top disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School. I want their happy event to turn into a funeral. Of course, we can't let the Sky Cloud Martial School grow any further. In the 5th sealed space in the west of the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace, Yuan Hengying smashed the head of the white silhouette with a palm attack, then laughed out loud. His face was filled with pride, arrogance. The Heavenly Dream Battle Palace can't possibly let me break into the mid-clasping Yuan realm from the early clasping Yuan realm all of a sudden, but reaching the peak of the early clasping Yuan realm has also largely improved my fighting power. Disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School, wait for me to kill you. Now, I can crush you to death with only one hand, especially that little bastard who has mastered the sword intent. I want you to die miserably. Yuan Hengying seemed to have imagined himself killing Yi Chen. He laughed out loud again. Zhen Qi surged out from his body, and that great and fierce Zhen Qi made him look like a devil. In the 16th sealed room in the east, Zhuang Fei slapped on the back of the white silhouette. The extremely condensed power of his palm instantly shattered the silhouette, without even a little bit of power leaking out. The Windy Nation will be mine in the future. After killing the white silhouette, Zhuang Fei released an aura that was not any weaker than Yuan Hengying's. Apparently, he had reached the peak of the early clasping Yuan realm. No one had ever thought that he would be able to reach the next level. After all, he was only ranked 68th in the last Hidden Dragon ranking, and was one of the weakest ones among the 9 nations. Yi Chen didn't know about the other people's changes, and he didn't have the time to think about it. This time, the white silhouette was quite powerful among the mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artists, which was only slightly weaker than the peak of the mid-clasping Yuan realm. However, this was already his limit. He was only able to fight until now because of his increasingly powerful sword intent. When Yi Chen had just entered the Heavenly Dream Ancient region, his sword intent was still in a relatively young stage. After the fight against Hong Qianjun, his sword intent had started to grow, and was still in the early stage. Now, after 5 rounds of tests, his sword intent had grown again, and was only 1 step away from reaching the entry level. The entry-level sword intent was terrifying. It was much more powerful than the sword intent at the early stage. In comparison, the current Yi Chen would only need a few moves to defeat himself, who had just entered the Heavenly Dream Ancient region. 1,000 moves. After a whole 1,000 moves, Yi Chen chopped off the white silhouette's head with 1 sword strike. At that moment, he only felt dizzy. But of course, no matter how tired he was, it was all worth it. The Zhen Qi swirl in his dantian had finally become a perfect Zhen Qi swirl. At this moment, Yi Chen had officially reached the clasping Yuan realm. Chapter 157. 100 Sword Attack. Intending to test the power of an early clasping Yuan realm martial art, Yi Chen's body shook, and he activated the pure Junjin Qi, a top-rank mortal realm martial art. Shwa 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 shwa, countless condensed Qi swords floated around Yi Chen's body. There were exactly 100 of them, and all of them flew in the same direction. That shocking sword aura was extremely horrifying, as if it could pierce through the surreal space and kill people with its aura. Go! As Yi Chen waved his hand, those Qi swords turned into beams of white light, shooting at the wall in front of him as fast as lightning. The iron-like wall slightly shook, and powder began to fall down. The whole wall had been shattered by those Qi swords. 100 Qi swords, each one of them could kill a peak-level late condensing reality realm martial artist. Even a peak-level early clasping Yuan realm martial artist would be turned into a beehive. If the pure Junjin Qi was a low-rank earth realm martial art, its power would be doubled. While estimating the power of those Qi swords, Yi Chen was secretly shocked. Without using any other skills, he could easily kill a peak-level early clasping Yuan realm martial artist with only the pure Junjin Qi, which was indeed beyond his expectation. Of course, he also knew that the power of those Qi swords was based on normal martial artists, and those genius martial artists would not be killed so easily. He still had to use his sword intent and the sky cloud sword art. Slowly letting out a breath, Yi Chen murmured to himself, with my current power, I should be able to beat a peak-level mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artist, but I wonder how I would fare against a late-clasping Yuan realm martial artist. The higher the level of a martial artist, the bigger the gap would be. Before reaching the clasping Yuan realm, one might be able to beat a martial artist who was 2 ranks higher than him, but after reaching the clasping Yuan realm, the possibility of beating a martial artist who was 2 ranks higher than him was very low. Even though Yi Chen's sword intent was almost at the entry level, and his soul power was unparalleled, he would still be limited. However, it was just a guess, he might be able to beat a martial artist who was 2 ranks higher than him. The 6th test. Whoosh! A white silhouette appeared under the colorful crystal ball. The white silhouette only stood there, but its Shin Qi was already like a tsunami. The air around it was suddenly compressed into a beautiful arc, late clasping Yuan realm. Yi Chen's face looked extremely serious. The pressure that the white light shadow gave him was the same as that of the 4th elder of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Just the aura alone could create a terrifying pressure that made people unable to resist. Qi. The white silhouette swung its sword. Before the sword Qi arrived, the wall behind Yi Chen caved in and some powder fell down. To be able to create such terrifying lethality with just sword pressure, it's indeed troublesome. Yi Chen hurriedly held his sword horizontally to block the incoming attack. He couldn't help but think of the middle-aged man in black from the Ghost Corpse Mountain, who had tried to kill them before. That man had thrown out a palm attack, and the horrifying palm pressure had turned dozens of men in black into piles of blood. It was exactly the same as this sword pressure, both were powers that only late clasping Yuan realm martial artists could have. Clang! The white sword Qi slashed onto the hidden cloud sword. Yi Chen seemed to hear the mournful cry of the hidden cloud sword. It was a sign that the sword was about to be destroyed. The sword Qi unleashed by the opponent was unimaginably powerful. If it wasn't a low-ranked great sword, it would be impossible for it to withstand the pressure. Break! Yi Chen let out a great roar. He pushed his pure Junjin Qi to its limit and poured all of it into the hidden cloud sword. In the next moment, the white sword Qi was shattered. Faint cracks appeared on the surface of the hidden cloud sword and spread out. Hold on for a while, let me show you the last of your power. The hidden cloud sword was damaged. Yi Chen didn't feel good about it. Although this sword hadn't been with him for a long time, it had accompanied him to fight until now. It had killed one enemy after another, and it had even killed Hong Qianjun, who was ranked in the Hidden Dragon ranking. It could be said that it had made great achievements. Yi Chen firmly stabilized the hidden cloud sword with his Jin Qi, and for the first time, he launched the shocking cloud sword art. Swirling clouds. The sharp sword chi rose straight up, twisting the airflow and forming a huge tornado. This time, the tornado was even more solid, and was emitting a faint light. It looked like a pillar in the sky, rolling towards the white silhouette. From time to time, the sword chi would shoot out. Clang! 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 The white silhouette calmly waved its sword to block the sword chi. Although it didn't seem to move fast, every sword strike landed on the weakest part of the sword chi. One after another, the sword chi was shattered, and the tornado was right in front of the silhouette. Abruptly, the white silhouette's body flashed, and unexpectedly, it raised its sword to block the tornado. Puff! The white silhouette passed through the tornado, and the tornado behind it suddenly disappeared, turning into a violent airflow that spread out in all directions. Shocking clouds. Yi Chen had never used the last movement of the shocking cloud sword art. It was not because he couldn't, but because it consumed too much Shen Qi. When he was at the late condensing reality realm, he couldn't use it at all. Now that he had reached the early clasping yuan realm, he could finally use this movement. Yi Chen's body floated in the air like a cloud, and then he waved his sword down. It was so light that it seemed like he was just brushing away the clouds. Crack! A thunderous sound rang out, and the sword chi shot out. There was no way to dodge this sword attack. The white silhouette didn't have any human emotions, it raised its sword to block the attack mechanically. With a cracking sound, the white sword in its hand was broken, and a deep sword mark appeared on its chest. However, it wasn't completely killed, and was only seriously injured. In fact, the white silhouette was at a disadvantage. The white sword in its hand was made of energy, and it wasn't very hard. In other words, Yi Chen didn't win with this movement, but with his sword. As his feet landed on the ground, Yi Chen let out a bitter laugh. He then lowered his head and looked at the hidden cloud sword. The hidden cloud sword, which had lost the stability of its Shen Qi, had shattered inch by inch. It turned into thousands of pieces and fell to the ground, making a clear and melodious sound. I lost. Without the hidden cloud sword, Yi Chen was no match for the white silhouette, although the white silhouette had also lost its sword. Yi Chen was preparing to fight with the white silhouette with his bare hands. It wouldn't matter even if he was eliminated. However, the sudden turn of events made him confused. The white silhouette automatically jumped into the crystal ball, it didn't turn into a white light and enter the crystal ball. Rumble. The sealed room started shaking, and 4 doors appeared in the room. 3 of them were connected to a dark and deep tunnel, and the last one was a light door. Recalling what the head elder had told him, Yi Chen's knitted eyebrows loosened. The Heavenly Dream Battle Palace was extremely mysterious, every test was different, but as long as one could pass all the tests, 3 treasures would be unlocked. These 3 treasures could be treasures, secret manuals, or other extremely precious things. However, if one wanted to get those treasures, he or she would have to fight for them with his or her own efforts. If he or she couldn't get those treasures, that would be his or her own problem. It seems that no one has passed all the tests in the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace for over 100 years. I didn't expect that I would break the record this time. Is there anyone else? It was not easy to pass all the tests. Later on, the white silhouette would adjust its power according to the individual's condition. For example, in the 6th round, Lynch's opponent was a peak-level mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artist, while Yi Chen's opponent was a late-level clasping Yuan realm martial artist. The 2 of them were only half a stage apart, but their power was completely different. Normally, even 2 peak-level mid-clasping Yuan realm martial artists might not be able to defeat a late-level clasping Yuan realm martial artist. However, Yi Chen had a premonition that he was not the only one who had passed all the tests. All those hidden dragon-ranked martial artists were not ordinary people, especially the 3 ranked in the top 60. They were 1 Bloodless Blade Mo Wuxia, the top-ranked disciple of the formless martial school, Shui Hen, and Killer Eagle, Yuan Hengying. The young master devil Leng Wuqing was not someone to be underestimated. If he could reach the clasping Yuan realm, his power would be absolutely terrifying. After all, he was practicing the Earth Devil body refining art, which made it extremely hard for him to improve his power, but once he did, his power would increase by leaps and bounds. Yi Chen waved his hand and the low-ranked great spear, which was placed in the corner of the room, flew into his hand. He felt a bit helpless. The low-ranked great spear was much more precious than the hidden cloud sword. However, he was a sword user, and only with a great sword in his hand could he activate his sword intent to the extreme. Without a great sword, his power would be greatly reduced, and even a low-ranked great weapon wouldn't be able to make up for it. I have to get a low-ranked great sword in the future. After making up his mind, Yi Chen looked at the 4 doors. If he guessed correctly, the other 3 doors were the entrances to the treasures, while the light door was the portal to the exit of the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace. Without any hesitation, Yi Chen walked towards the door on the left. As for the light door, he didn't even think about it. Since he had already come in, how could he leave empty-handed? Not long after Yi Chen walked into the passage, the other places started to change one after another. Just like the rumors said, if I pass all the tests, I will have the chance to get 3 treasures. These 3 treasures are mine now. Putting the blood-red thin blade back into the sheath, Wuxia let out an evil smile and stepped into the left passage. In another room, Yuan Hengying licked his lips. The 6th round was indeed out of his expectation, and he almost failed. Luckily, at the crucial moment, he still had a secret ace up his sleeve, which was why he was not eliminated. However, this ace could only be used once, so he did not dare to use it too many times. Thinking of the 3 treasures, Yuan Hengying couldn't wait any longer. No matter who it was, whoever stood in his way would have to die. Not only Wuxia and Yuan Hengying had passed all the tests. Leng Wuqing was also one of them. He had already stepped into the clasping Yuan realm, which meant that his fighting power had increased by 2 times. Now, his body was as hard as a rank 5 martial zombie, which meant that he could take an attack from an early clasping Yuan realm martial artist without losing his life. The last one who passed all the tests was not the top-ranked disciple of the formless martial school, Xue Hen, but the top-ranked disciple of the Emerald Martial Palace, Zhuang Fei. He had been holding the position of the most powerful young martial artist in the Windy Nation, and had never thought about giving it up. This time was no exception. The passages were connected to one room after another, which were complicated and hard to count. Sometimes, there were even stairs leading to the upper or lower floors, which was quite confusing. Fortunately, there was a light door in each room, which could teleport people out at any time. Otherwise, Yi Chen would have to rely on the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace to teleport him out after he got the treasures. Entering one room after another, then walking out, and so on, buzz. After an unknown period of time, a wave of vibration came from below. This wave of vibration came so suddenly, as if it was alerting the people nearby that it was there. Is this the first treasure? Letting out a long breath, Yi Chen turned around and walked towards the room behind him. There was a door in that room, which led to the lower floor. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.